Alright, I think we live. I don't know. Hopefully. Sup Warriors is exercise free live stream week 147. How you guys doing? Hope you guys had a lot of good improvement this week. I already peaked, so I already know. And hello to Alex. Hello to David. Okay. So yeah, let's get into the submissions. First up, we have Valentina. We open my Photoshop. Oh my god, it takes forever to open, Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay, let me get my water to the side so I don't spill it. Okay, and Valentina says, "Hi Julia, how are you?" Doing good. I'm feeling a bit tired today. Hope your week is going great so far. Yeah. Hope your week is going great. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I'm feeling a little bit sick today. Yeah, thank you so much. Hope you're having a great week too. Last week my exercise was based on a good example, green check, and you told me to now attempt to do some with my own design. Okay. Here's a profile and a 3/4 view. What do you think? Thanks, Valentina. So that was last week. Yeah, and this was like a really great study of the green check example. So that is great. And this one is also pretty good, pretty good. And then this one, I feel like this one has like a lot of potential and like you definitely learn a lot from this example. But there are like some things that I felt like maybe could have been done a bit different. So, first thing is that if you look at the space from here to here, it's like more like this space, and in yours, the space is like bigger, right? So you have this eye all the way up to the right, and it should be literally here. So that's what I did. So I took this measurement from the reference, and that's how I realized that the eye should be brought closer. Another thing is like, look how round the forehead of this guy is, and I felt like you kind of flattened it and like made his hairline go a little bit like more back, and he looked like he has a really big forehead, or like if he was balding. So I brought back some of this hairline. And lastly, I feel like your nose was like smaller, and because you made the nose smaller, it made this part, the little eye, kind of really like prevalent, and it's actually better if it's like it's cool to like show this part, but then you have to like balance it out with like the nose being like as big as the reference. So I did that, and I feel like with those two changes, he started to look a bit more like the reference, right? So those are all like at this point like subtle stuff that you need to like pay attention to, Valentina. So, measuring this stuff, like this space in here when placing the eye, like thinking a little bit about like the specific proportions of the reference, and like paying attention to like the unique stuff about the reference, right? So I'm not saying make it as round as it is, but like don't completely flat it out, because then you're losing like the likeness. So I'm gonna save it for the Discord so you can check it out. So yeah, definitely my biggest advice, Valentina, would be to focus a little bit more on like the reference and like proportions, and just like measuring more. Oh, also one important thing about like the eyes. If you look at the eyes that I drew, you can see that you're missing the tear duct on the other side, and that's making the eye look a bit flat. So I introduced a little bit of this tear duct in here and showed that the upper eyelid is actually like wrapping, and it really helps with the 3D form of the eye. And another thing I did is like, if you look at the reference, the overall shape of this eye, you kind of made it like this and that, but this is really like a triangle. Like the corner is like sharper. So that's why I made the changes. Okay, so like I think at this point, Valentina, you have like overall like pretty good works, but now it's all about like capturing the subtleties, you know, like the eye and then the size of everything and like the forehead. So try working on that. So work on the subtleties. Okay, everything else is looking really, really good. So do that and keep going. Okay. Next up we have Alex. Okay, and Alex says, "Hi Julia. Finally you saw Batman and I hope you liked it." Yeah, I really liked it, you know. I especially like the listening to Nirvana on those biggest speakers when there was like this look at the city. That was really great. The only thing I didn't like about the movie though, it was like the romance between Batman and the Catwoman. Never, like, it's been a while since I've seen more forced romance in my entire life. That was so out of place, but other than that, great movie. Okay, another week of my eyes is upon us, but maybe I'm getting there, who knows. Last week you said my eye studies were good, so I returned to portraits, still struggling with the damn irises, though some fingers crossed they are better this week. Also, any tips about the curly hair? I know the new videos are coming, but maybe you can give me some directions. Have a great week. Cheers, Alex. Okay, so as you can see, I did 2 OPs. So yeah, that was last week. This work was actually pretty good. Okay, so we have this one, and this one. Yeah, you're so good now at like capturing like the silhouette. That's so great. With curly hair, do you mean this hair? Yeah, I think like my biggest advice for this type of hair, you're gonna talk about it a little bit more in the videos, but if you kind of like zoom out, you can see that there's like this like open triangle shape in here. You can even like outline a little bit of this. There's like this hole in here happening, so I would definitely include that. And from more of like positive shapes, you have like this, so I would try to capture that too, and I feel like you kind of did that. So yeah, I think you're doing pretty good. Like I don't really want to give you a lot of advice because like it literally took us like so much time to explain it that it wouldn't make sense to even like attempt explaining it on the live stream, because like you really need all of these videos. But it's all about like capturing those like black shapes, you know, like the holes, and then basing your drawing on that. So there is like an important strand in here, so I would do it like that. This is like important, so yeah, I would add that too. Then in here I would separate like the top from like so that's the bottom and that's the top, so we would need something in here. But yeah, I wouldn't say, like, I would say don't really you know, worry about that too much. We have other issues to solve first. Okay, so I'm gonna save it for the Discord if you're interested. Okay, and then for the actual OP, So everything looked great. I especially like love this nose. It's so good. But kind of if you look at this dude, he kind of looks like he's a bit spooked, right? And that's because you kind of the way you're doing your irises, like I think the shape, like especially in this eye, is like really good. But what you could use more is a bit more of like line variation. Okay, so this is the OP. So as you can see, your iris wasn't that bad. Like the shape of the eye is really good, but like see how your iris just literally looks like you didn't really vary the lines at all. And like what's kind of helping the iris is a bit of a line weight, so you kind of build it up a little bit more closer to the eyelid. Okay, and then for the other eye, like again, like that's what we always talk about. Like if the overall shape of this one is kind of like this vibe, then it wouldn't make sense for the other eye to have like a different vibe. Because the vibe of this is this kind of rectangle, you know, and this one is more like narrow. So that would only make sense for this eye to be as narrow as the other. So I kind of just even it out. And this way, like this eye now matches this eye, right? So again, if I were to like enclose both of them in some kind of rectangle, so now they're like much closer, right? Okay. So that would be the changes. Here are the eyes side by side. Maybe we can take a look. See, so it's like all about making it much more with this one, and a little bit about the line variation in the actual iris, you know. So I'm gonna save it for the Discord so you can check it out, Alex. Oh, and other changes, small ones that I did, just his lips a little bit, like he kind of look like he kind of looks like that on the reference, but like, you know, I would make it more neutral, so because it's really hard to pull it off. Okay, so let me save this one. Okay, so this, okay, with this one it's like similar issue, like the irises, more line variation, and again, this one, left one is more of a this shape, but this one is like longer. And the irises itself, like this one is bigger and this one is smaller, so be careful with that. Okay, and then for this guy, I just feel like, I don't know what happened because you're like so good with like front facing angles, but this guy it just felt like he needs a bit more like subtlety. So see how he just kind of looks a little bit like a zombie, like he's a little bit dead, and like his silhouette is just like really plain and simple, and like the guy actually has pretty interesting silhouette. So if you look at like the guy you did some time ago, Alex, like this guy here, like look how great you like showed that those cheekbones are going out a little bit, and that's a little bit what's missing in this study. So I kind of changed it a little bit. And then for the eyes, again, first of all, I feel like you made the space between them a little too big, so I brought them like closer together. And again, it's all about this variation in the irises, because it immediately like makes it look a bit more like in focus. And I also brought the eyebrows a bit lower to make him a bit sexy. And really, really important, part of the actual face, it's always these two lines. They are not even like, I don't even think about them as like hairline, because like I think about them as they're like framing the cheekbones. So it's really important to like keep them really like prevalent, right? And before you kind of, this wasn't even like finished, and this one was in here, but it got like disturbed by the hair, so I kind of show them a bit more. And a little bit the bottom of the nose, I feel like you made it a bit too big. And then this, it's like if you look at him, he literally doesn't even have like the bottom. So it's up to imagination, but you know, I wouldn't add it so big, because then it implies that this nose is like really pointy, and it's not that pointy probably. Okay, so I'm gonna save this one for the Discord, Alex, so you can check it out. Yeah. Okay, so I think my biggest feedback would be to really think a bit more on the line variation in your eyes, irises, excuse me, and then still like keep thinking about how to make the eyes more even. But everything else is looking really, really good, and like for this one, a bit more subtlety would be required, right? So, you know, making it a bit more interesting to look at, making him more like a fuckboy, because like that's who they are, those boys. So do that, Alex, and keep going. Really good job. Okay. Next up we have Fur. Okay. And Fur says, "Hi Julia, how are you?" I'm doing okay, a bit tired today. Hope you're having a nice day. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a nice day too. 2 weeks ago, you told me to work on the subtleties, eyes and hair, so I studied them a lot. Let me know if I did better this week and what do I need to work on. As always, thank you so much. You're so welcome, Fur. Okay, so that was last time. Yeah, pretty good, but I needed a bit more subtlety. Okay. This one, oh, this one also pretty good. And then we have this one. This one, yeah, this one feels pretty good. I really like this one. I think it's like the hair is also pretty good. Okay. Oh, so these two. So yeah, as I said, this one it's like really good. I really like this one. The only thing is that maybe it's missing a bit of like line variation. So see how like all around the lines are literally like exactly the same. So what I would do, I would kind of fade away and make them like lighter, some of the lines, so they can be like more varied, you know. So for example, I would fade away this one a bit like this one, so they just like are more interesting to look at. Okay, and then like the top a bit also. Okay. So before and after, but it's like really subtle, so I don't really think we have to like stress about it too much right now. For this guy, however, I feel like overall like good job, because he's kind of a tricky reference. I really like the way you're doing the eyebrows and the noses. Okay, so that's kind of like my OP. So it's a little bit like you gave him this really, really strong jaw, and he actually feels like his chin is a bit smaller, and like he just feels like he's more gentle, and so I brought the jaw a bit higher, and then like push this in so he can have like more of a chiseled chiseled jaw, right? Okay. And then for the eyes, I feel like overall you did pretty good. But there is something about the way you do the line weight. I feel like this is kind of what I talked to Alex that he should do more, but I feel like Ufer took it a bit too much. So it's all about like having just a bit more when the eye is touching the upper eyelid. But then like it's getting thinner again, but like it shouldn't be that extreme, you know? So I did that. And also I feel like your eye, it just felt like it's really short. So I made it a little bit longer. Yeah, so for eyes, like it's that. So a bit longer, and like be careful with the build up for the irises first. Be really careful with that. Okay, and then for the eyebrow, great eyebrows, but I just felt like, see how like clearly this is like wrapping on the reference? So I added the wrapping of the eyebrow. And then for the nose, it just felt like the nose was a little bit too wide. I feel like literally like just few pixels, but it just made his nose look really big, and like he has more of like a smaller nose. So that would be the changes. As you can see, they are pretty subtle, but like you have to kind of get those subtleties now, and yeah, that's really important. So I'm gonna save it for the Discord so you can check it out first. So yeah, overall I feel like you're doing really good, Fer. I really like everything, but like I want you to work a little bit on those subtleties and be careful with the way you're building up the irises, okay? So do that and keep going. Really good job. Okay. So that was Fer. Maybe I can like save this one as well. Okay. So in this one, also pretty good, but be more careful with like the line variation. Again, like you need more line variation. That's what it is. Okay, great job, Fer. Okay, next up we have Toyoko. What you guys saying in the chat? Okay, Alex says the romance was unnecessary. Oh yeah, in Batman. Valentina says hello. Hello to Valentina. Hello to Taco. Okay, you're just talking. We have less submissions. Everyone is afraid of the eyes. Probably. Valentina says, I don't blame them. These reviews are not for the faint of heart. Come on, guys. It's not that bad. Okay. So Toyoko says, hello, Julia. I hope you're enjoying nice spring days. Well, it's actually raining today, so I don't know if I'm enjoying anything. Last week you told me for front view study to add more line weight for brows, not to add line weight for the bridge of the nose. The mouth should be wider. 3 planes for eyes should be more natural. Eyes are so hard. They really are. I struggle for hours drawing, erasing, and redrawing. Why don't I give up drawing? Mystery. I feel the same, you know? I always struggle with eyes as well. Actually, I always leave them for like the last thing. So, for example, I have like this sketch and like everything is like done and stuff, but like I'm like procrastinating. I feel like I did everything in like an hour, and then I was like, oh my god, I have to do the eyes. And I was like, yeah, maybe later. And it's like, what, like 3 months later? And like, you know, I never came back to this sketch. So it's just chilling here without any eyes. But I'm gonna. So yeah, that's literally like, it never goes away. Eyes are so hard. They really are. Okay. Thank you and have a nice live stream. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Okay? So we have last week. Yeah, pretty good overall. Okay, just like, why would you outline it here? Interesting. Okay, so this one, yeah, this one too. And we have this one. Yeah, wow, great silhouettes. Wow, you're really like understanding literally everything. Maybe except for this part, but chill. Yeah, this one is cool as well. Yeah, I think this one is better than the previous one. Okay, and then this one. Yeah. So maybe let's first talk a little bit about this one. So if you look at the reference, you can see that like he's looking to the left, and like, look, you traced it, and like you traced the irises, but then like your irises are like doing something a bit different. So see how you like left the space in here between the iris and the bottom eyelid, whereas on the reference you don't really have that space, you know. So it's actually like the bottom eyelid is like covering a bit of the iris. So this guy is looking this direction, and your guy is looking this direction. And it's all due to you adding this space in here. Because if you look at the diagram, if you leave the space, immediately your guy is gonna look up. So, you know, and he is not looking up, he's looking to the side. Okay? So in my OP, that's what I did. I made him look to the side. So I had to like change the irises and a bit like the shapes of the eyes. You know, so definitely he's looking to the side rather than up and to the side. And like if we look at the shape of the iris, I mean, this guy is kind of like doing this, so it's hard to judge because like one iris is doing one thing and the other one is doing something else. So I just kind of decided to make this one closer to this one. So he's just like looking to the side instead of like having them like super open. Yeah. So yeah, I was looking at this shape for the iris. And that's kind of what I did, right? So the bottom is chopped off. Okay. So that would be it for this one. Everything else is like really good. So I'm gonna save it for the Discord. So Toyoko, it's really now about like observing those eyes like super closely and like don't get carried away with like doing stuff that is not happening. Because he's definitely, I mean, maybe you got confused, but like I think he's definitely looking more to the side rather than up. So I'm gonna save it for the Discord so you can check out the changes. Yeah, but like other than the irises, I think like one thing you can kind of think about a little bit more is the upper eyelids. Look how like squarish they look. So I would definitely try to make them more natural. Okay, so that would be it for this guy. This guy is pretty good, but again, like really squarish upper eyelids. Other than that, I think he is like pretty good. Oh, but like be careful with those hair. Kind of looks like a sponge. I think we have like a version of this guy on the Discord somewhere. Yeah, definitely prefer this way of making the hair for him. So a bit more gentle and a bit more like a cloud, rather than like a, I don't know, like a sponge. Okay. And then for this guy, I think like you kind of got carried away with this nose, and like because of the lighting, his nose literally looks like super straight. So I would keep it this way because at this point that would be kind of inventing stuff. So I made the nose a bit straight, more straight. And then for the jawline, if you actually look in here, this is the actual bone. See like how this shadow in here is like this? This is where the bone is, not like that. So I just made it more according to this shadow in here, you know? And that's how I found the shape for the jaw. So before and after. Okay. Oh, and also the eye was a little bit too small. So I just made it bigger, because if we're gonna measure this eye here to here, it's definitely more like my size rather than your size. Okay, so I'm gonna save it for the Discord as well, Poyoko, so you can check out the changes. So yeah, I feel like you're definitely going in the right direction. So just keep working on the stuff I mentioned, like be more mindful of like the reference, like observing this jawline, observing a little bit of the nose, like not adding unnecessary stuff to it. And then for this guy, like be more careful when like identifying what's happening with the iris. Okay, so do that and keep going. Really good job. Okay, next up we have Taco. And Taco says, "Hi Julia, hope you have a great day." Thank you so much, Taco. Hope you're having a great day too. Last week you told me you want to see my work more, so how is it now? Okay. Hope you like it. Okay. Hope I like it too. So that was last week. It was already looking pretty good. This one too. And then we have this one, and this one, I really love this nose. Overall, it's a really cool work. And this one, yeah, also pretty good. And this one, yeah, I think this one is like the best. I really like how you looked at the shape in here in order to make it like that. So that is really good. This is a really good study. Okay, I think for this one, the only thing I want to mention a little bit is how your eye seems a bit more open, and I think on the reference he has it like more closed. So I think that's kind of more like the vibe from the reference. So before and after, but I feel like it's really subtle. But you know, maybe it's always worth mentioning stuff like that. So I'm gonna save this little change to the Discord Taco so we can check it out. So yeah, for this guy, I feel like I want to talk about him because he has a lot of potential. But I feel like one thing is that you kind of made him look a bit puffy, and it's because like he has kind of like this rounded jaw because of the perspective, but it's not gonna look the best if you're gonna draw it like this. So when somebody looks like their jaw is like really round, it's actually better to introduce a bit more of like angularity to kind of balance it out so he doesn't look so puffy. So I kind of tried to make him look more angular. So I did it by like getting rid of this roundness and making it more into this line. Now I'm thinking about it, I think I maybe went a little bit too much. So maybe I would grab this and just round it off slightly, but like it's really important, I think, to keep the corners. Okay, so as you can see, I kind of made the chin a bit more prevalent, make this a bit more angular. The lips itself, I feel like you had like great shapes, but his lips, they feel like they're like you made them from this to this, and I feel like his lips, yeah, like it just feels like maybe it's like because of like you didn't stretch them enough like this way, but like his lips look a bit like they need to be stretched. So like that. And then everything else was looking really good. But again, I kind of exaggerated the hairline in here. So as you can see, his hairline is this line. And it's really important to exaggerate that because it's gonna show that the cheekbone is protruding. And in yours, they were like kind of a bit soft, those two lines. Like they didn't really feel, and like in here you kind of broke it down. So it's kind of better to keep it more simple to convey more structure. Okay, so see this one, now it's in here, and this one in here. Okay, so I think that would be all for you, Taco. I think you're doing really good. Now it's just a matter of like keep on going. Oh my god. Now it's just a matter of like you need to keep on going and like produce more works like this so I can see more consistency. Because like this one and this one and this guy I really like, but this guy, like something about his eyes is looking a bit weird. I'm not exactly sure what is it. I think it's a little bit of this iris. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to just like fix it in a second, but something about the eye still needs to be worked on in here. So I would just say keep going. You need more mileage. So focus on keeping up the quality of this study and like this study. But yeah, overall you're doing really, really good. So just keep going, do 3 more, and we will see. But definitely you're heading in the right direction. Now you just need to work a little bit on the subtleties. But great job, Taco. Okay, next up we have Sydney. Okay, and Sydney says the Batman's is on HBO now. Yeah, but I watched it last week though. Okay, hey Julia, how you going? I'm a bit tired today. Sydney here. Questions and observations. Well, I started anew, so I've been busy. New what? Job, I guess? Because things at first turn out to be more harder in the beginner. I'm not being able to make a lot of effort on drawing right, so this week I only could do 1 exercise. I've really tried, you know. Okay, that's cool. Like, do however much you can do, you know. Just do your best all the time, you know. Quality over quantity most of the time. Okay, also I wanted to ask if this month is the last month of the Patreon on the way it is, you know, with critique for everyone, even for the ones without course, because if it is, this will be the last month that I will be here because I don't have the course, and that's pretty much it. I actually don't know when the academy is kicking in, so I cannot really answer that. I think you would have to message Angel. I don't know. Okay, free, but it's really sad that you have to leave. But next week I will try to pass to level 4 if this one does go. Okay. The reason why I don't buy the course is because I don't have the money to, but we'll try to make this money for sure and come back. Oh yeah, in a style tag. Sydney, Jesus Christ. Hope you're gonna make the money to join the academy, because like I feel like you did a great improvement in here, so that would be really cool to see you progress further. Okay, oh. So this was last week, yeah, and I OP'd the eyes, and in here I think I remember OPing the contour. And then this one was pretty good, but the nose was a little bit weird. Okay, and then we have this one. And I think this is like a really tricky reference, and it's really hard to pull off. So I'm just saying this is a really hard ref, and like I don't think anyone honestly can like pull it off. So that was bold of you, Sydney. So I think the biggest thing in here were a little bit like the eyes. So if you look at this guy's eyes, they have more of like, if you like measure them from here to here, I feel like your eye is like, was like not long enough, and also like the angle is like this, but it should be, so the angle of like his eye is a bit more like this. So I wouldn't say like angle it like that, but like definitely give it some tilt, and your is more like this angle, like almost going inwards. Same with this one, but I feel like for this one you did it better, but the problem is in this eye. So it's about the angles and about like the length. So I try to make them more to have like the correct length. So as you can see, like the ones I did, they're like a bit more stretched. So that would be a big thing. Another thing I feel that you should like keep thinking about, Sydney, is like, I think you had the similar issue like last week. So do you see how even on this guy, like you didn't include, like didn't do this line, and should have. So like this line and this line, like there's, especially in the front viewing angles, it's necessary to like continue this line. Like it shouldn't just disappear because there is ear. Like that would happen in like 3/4, but in the fronts we always draw those lines. So I wouldn't like miss out on them. Okay, so that's what I added. So see, like you didn't have it, and then I added it. And it will immediately make him look a bit more like a fuckboy. Okay. So that would be the biggest thing that you can work on, Sydney. So definitely maybe try picking like a simpler reference. Pay attention to those measurements on the eyes. So like how wide how long the eyes are, because you have a tendency to make them like a bit shorter, like a bit too small. And then don't forget in the front facing angles to continue this line like this and like that. Okay, so I'm gonna save it for the Discord so you can check it out, Sydney. So do that and keep going. Okay, really good job. Okay, next up we have Rebel. Okay, and Rebel says, "Hi Julia. First submission for lesson 3. I know I've got a long way to go, and a lot of it will just come with mileage, so I would just appreciate hearing the areas I should focus on. Thanks so much, Rebel." Okay, so this was last week. Really good planes. This one's in here too. This one's in here too. And then we have the front guy, which is from these planes. Yeah, and I feel like it worked out pretty well for the line weight as well. So see guys, that's why you need to have good planes, good line weight, you know. And then we have this guy. This guy is looking a bit angry, you know. And then we have this one. Yeah. Okay. So for the first try, I think like you're doing really good. One thing I noticed, all of those gentlemen, well, maybe not this one, but like this one and this one, I feel like when you're doing eyebrows, you're kinda angling them too much inwards, and both of these guys look a bit angry. So I kinda made him like less angry by raising the eyebrows a little bit and changing the tilt. So the tilt before the tilt of your eyebrows were like angry. So like this and like this. And there was like really little space and it made him look angry. But actually the guy on the picture, he's looking rather like relaxed. So what I did is I kind of changed the tilt to be like more neutral. And I kind of made this eyebrow be higher, so there's more space, so he doesn't look like he's doing this, but rather he looks really chill. Okay, so that's the before and after. And then I feel like a little thing for the irises that I did. This guy is looking straight into the camera, and your guy was looking like to the left. So I made this iris a bit more to the center. So I made this space a bit bigger so he can look into the camera. Okay. So I feel like you're doing really good for the first try, Rebel. So I would just say keep going, because at this point you need more mileage and like more examples. But you're not necessarily doing anything like bad. Just be careful with those eyebrows. Don't make people look angry, okay? So do that and keep going. You're definitely going in the good direction, Rebel. Okay, next up we have Magdalena. Magdalena says, "Hi Julia, I'm still stuck here because of the eyes and eyebrows." Okay, last time I had problem with proportions and showing turn of the eyebrows. Thank you for your feedback. Have a great day. Okay, so we have this. Yeah, definitely a bit of problem with the eyebrows and they look a bit flat. Okay, and those are this week's eyes. And yeah, oh, definitely the eyebrows are getting so much better. Like your triangles are like looking really good now. The breakdown is pretty good as well. So I think like we can stop here with those studies. I think you can move on to doing only the portraits now. And we have this one. And I feel like actually the shapes in here are like pretty cool, but they kind of lack a bit of confidence. So in my OP, I focused on like putting the eyes a bit more in focus, and then I kind of changed the eyebrow. Everything else was like pretty good. So as you can see, like look at the change in the eye. See how on the reference he's really like having this smug kind of face, like he has this like a bit of a closed eye, and he's like saying, "How are you lost, baby girl?" and stuff. So that's how he looks like. And your guy just kind of looked like you just told him that, you know, you just told him that somebody ate his like last favorite snack that he was hoping to eat for like a week, and he's just like, "What?" So he looks a bit like surprised and disappointed. So in order to avoid this look, I changed the iris to be more like the reference. So if we're gonna trace the iris on the reference, you're gonna see that the iris is like this shape. Literally this shape. And that's exactly the shape that I did in here, right? So that's the shape directly from the reference, and like I just did it on my freehand. And before, see how this shape is like totally different, because your shape is this and that, right? So that's your shape. and that's the shape from the reference. So hopefully you can see how different they are. I'm gonna save it for the Discord so you can check it out. Okay, so that would be the changes. And I did the same thing. I again looked at the shape in here and I made it accordingly. And then for the eyebrow, I feel like your eyebrow was kind of like you did them pretty good in like in here, but then when it came to like the actual study, it's like really like your eyebrow lacks a bit of tapering. So if you like, you can literally fill it up with like the brief brush, you know. And this one actually, it's like significantly, this is like smaller and this is like bigger. So it has a lot of tapering within this. Okay. And lastly, I did a bit of a change to the nose because you didn't really show the ball and it kind of looked like Squidward nose. Whereas he kind of has this ball a bit more prevalent. You can even see a little bit of a bump in here. So that's why I changed it. Okay, so I think that would be all for you, Magdalena. I think from now on you can just like do 3 portrait studies and like keep working on the eyes and the eyebrows, right? So like really focus on capturing the shapes from the reference. Okay, so I'm saving it so you can check it out. So keep working on the eyes and eyebrows, Magdalena, but now you can do also the entire portraits. So work on the confidence and work on the shape of the iris and the shapes for the eyebrows. Okay, great job, keep going. Okay, next up we have Mabel. Okay, and Mabel says, hello Julia, hope you're feeling well today. I'm a little bit tired, but it's okay for the most part. Last week I had some issues with the design and my lines were messy. I tried to fix those problems and hopefully my work has improved this week. Thank you for your feedback, Mabel. And okay. Let me just change the music. Okay. Because I've been listening to the same song for an hour and I'm getting sick of it. Okay, let me listen to this one. Okay. So this was last week. Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. This one too. Okay. This one. And then this one. He looks like a chibi version of this guy. That's so interesting. Okay, so I think we have like for both of these gentlemen, we have like good examples. Okay. Okay, let me feed. Oh shit. Okay, so I think like you maybe you studied this one because I think I'm like starting to see some similarities. But it's like there's like some stuff that I feel like you kind of like missed some subtleties. I think the biggest thing would be break his texture now. Interesting. The biggest thing is probably like the overall like the silhouette, and I'm also talking about the hair. So see, like if we would to like trace the silhouette of this guy, you have this, obviously this, and I feel like this is cool, but the jaw, this, and maybe this. And I feel like your guy, he's just a bit different. See, so for example, this your jawline is like a bit shorter, and I feel it would look better a little bit how it is on the example. Another thing would be like the eyebrows. So see how sharp your eyebrow looks, and this eyebrow feels more natural. So it really feels like if somebody took this eyebrow and like throw it at me, I would die, you know, but with this one I would probably maybe survive. So that's the difference. So yeah, see how super sharp, and like this is like really big, and here is like way more subtle, you know. So this is like the things that you should be paying attention to at this point, because you have like pretty good proportions like overall, but now it's just a matter of getting the subtleties right. Another thing would be like the angle of the nose. So see how on the good example the angle is a bit like that, and your is like more straight. So that's like, if you exaggerate, that's like on the reference, and yours is like more horizontal. And on the actual reference, like it's again more like on the good example. So this is another subtlety that you may have missed, but I'm here to tell you about it. Yeah, and other than that, I feel like you did pretty good, but that would be like the biggest things. So I'm gonna save it for the Discord, Mabel, so you can check it out. But definitely really be careful with this silhouette, because you kind of pushed in his skull a little bit. Okay, so that would be it for this one. And for this one, I feel we also have a good example somewhere. Okay, so for this one, there's like a lot of stuff that you know you could like look at in here. One of it would be probably like really so in profile, like side views, what's the most important is to get like all of this right. So if we're gonna trace the reference, there's like this a lot of like subtleties going on, and it's really important to like do your best to capture them. And I feel like yours is kind of a bit different, see, but like it may look like it's not a lot, but like this nose and like this being a little bit off, it will really like play like a bad trick. So see how on this example like the nose is like more like that and yours is like flatter. Those are all like the things that will like make or break your profile view. So I'm gonna save it for the Discord as well, and you can actually look at how, is it here? Oh yeah, like how Taco, even like, you know, when he was tracing, he did like this line from the nose to the chin to really like see what kind of shape this should be making. So you can try doing that for your studies as well if you're struggling with the profile views, because I feel like it will really help you. So overall, I think like Mabel, you just need to kind of focus more on like studying the subtleties from the reference, and really like studying good examples and just looking at a lot of good works in order to kind of start understanding the subtleties of the models. Okay, so try doing that. So maybe for next week do a study of some of the good examples from the Discord that we have. So this way you can you can kind of see how people see those subtleties, okay? So do that, Mabel, and we'll see each other next week. Really good job. Okay, and next up we have Lion. Okay, and Lion says, "Hi Julia, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. I think I saw you on the chat. Oh yeah. Hey, hi Lion in the file and Lion in the chat." Lion says, "I'm now imagining a ninja throwing shuriken eyebrows." That's fair. You know, whatever it takes to like not make them super sharp. Alex says, "Images in my head I will never get rid of, not that I would want to." Oh, wow, that's smart. Oh, I guess for the profiles. John Delmore says, "I've been a Patreon member for a couple of days now, but I'm still unable to get access to the Discord. What should I do?" What you can do is you can message us on the Doodle Warriors okay, I don't even know how to say it in English, but I can tell you the thing. It's this email. Yeah, just message us at doodlewarriors@gmail.com and like explain your issue, explain that you cannot get it, and somebody will help you out there. Okay, going back to the submissions. Lion says, "Hi Julie, hope you're doing well." Yeah, pretty much, although I'm a bit tired. "Last time you told me to focus on my noses, so I chose reference with a really big nose." Second one, okay. 2 questions. 1. When you tell me to focus on something, should I just draw that and not the whole face? I saw some people do that. We will see. How far am I from lesson 4? Insert puppy eyes here and cute pets pics. Okay. Okay. Well, this depends on like if I'm gonna see you struggling with something in particular, and like I'm gonna see that something in particular is like holding you back and you don't really need to work too much on other parts, then I will tell you to just do that. But if I still see that you can like just use some overall mileage for like all the parts of the face, then I will just tell you to keep doing portraits. So that's kind of how I think about it, and we will see. So just listen to what I say and you're good. Okay, so that was last week, and like this one was like actually really, really good. Okay, and then we have this one. Yeah, and this one is also looking pretty good. The nose definitely getting better. Okay. For this nose, I think we have the good example. I feel in there the nostril is looking a bit different. Oh yeah. Oh, I love this nostril. Okay. So we have this example here. So let's do a bit of comparing. Okay. So if we look closely, one thing you will like see about the good example versus yours is that the nose, it has a bit more of like wrapping. Oh, why I cannot get it? Okay. So if you look at them side by side, and also get me like the reference. So if we're gonna take a look at the 3 of these, you can see how the nose is kind of like the bottom line of this nose. It's like that, right? And that's kind of the same how it feels on this nose because of this line in here. So the person who did that, they went this line this line, be a different color, this line, and then this really important small one in cyan, right? So you got like 1, 2, and 3 lines, and it's the same on the reference. So it's like this big one, then the pink one, and then with the cyan, see, like if you like zoom in, you can even see that this is the cartilage like getting like wrapping, you know. So that's really important to include, and you can kind of have that, but it's kind of, it looks like what you capture with yours is you captured like this, but like we have to think about you cannot just copy that. We have to like think about the entire shape. So how it should be on yours is like this line that you have, and this one, and then this one. And with all of that, you will see that your nose would like get more parallel to like the lips and everything else, because right now it looks like the nose is like this and the lips are like this, and everything is just like having a different perspective. So that is really important. Okay, so I'm gonna maybe do like a close-up and save it for the Discord line so you can check it out. Okay, so this is really important. Okay, so that would be it for this one, for the nose. Okay, and for this one, I feel like the nose in here was actually pretty cool, but where you kind of fell a bit short were the eyes. So your eye, if we're gonna measure it, if we're gonna measure it on the reference, so from here to here, this is how much space the eye should take up. And as you can see, this is how much of this eye you're missing with blue. This is how much, like where this eye should be reaching, and it's not. So that's how short your eye is compared to how long it should be. Okay, so I made the eye longer, and this way you can see that actually he started looking more like the reference. So make sure that you're doing a lot of those small measurements. See, so that's really, really important. And then a little bit for your eyebrows. I feel like you should maybe start tracing them a little bit on the reference. So if you look at the reference line, it's like the eyebrow would be like this, this, you know, so that would like make you avoid making it like that, because that's really like not like this on the reference. And this one like that. Okay, so that's really important to like do some tracing on top of the reference, yeah, to kind of make it better. I feel like I made it too tilted. It would be probably more like this to keep this man more neutral looking. And yeah, that is really, really important. So I would say keep working on the noses, and like also like work a little bit more on your eyes. Make those little measurements to make sure that they are taking up enough space. And maybe you can try tracing the eyebrows on the reference to give you like a better idea. And make sure that you're checking out the diagram for the eyebrows that I did. So make sure that the triangle is like 1/3 of the entire eyebrow, because I feel like in yours it was like way smaller. So if we're gonna divide this up into thirds, roughly like that, look, like your triangle it's in here. So like it's too small. That triangle should be in here. Okay, so I'm gonna save it for the Discord as well, so you can check it out. Okay. But overall, you're doing good, and I feel like you're heading in the good direction from where we were not that long ago, actually. So definitely keep going. You're gonna get it. Okay, so I'm gonna save this one side by side as well. Okay, so keep going, Lion. Great job. I really, I'm proud of your progress. It's really, really good. Okay, next up we have Camila. We drink some water. Alex says, oh wait. Alex says, I think it was Angel who once said the nostril lines on the outside should always face and wrap in the same direction, if that helps. Wow, I don't think I understood what you mean, but you know, hope it makes sense. So nostril is basically a warp rectangle without a bottom line. And that sounds like I'm 14, I'm deep. Okay. Alright, Lion says thank you. Lion says not that long ago, was 2 months ago. Well, listen, I kind of lost track of time. So for me, 2 months ago, it's like not that long ago, honestly. Okay. So we have Camila, and she says, hi. Main problem with my last submission was that the hair was too messy. I tried to fix it. No particular questions this week. I appreciate any feedback. Thank you. Okay, so this was last week and was looking pretty good, but the hair was definitely too messy in this one as well. And now we have this one. Okay, and yeah, definitely the hair got so much better. Okay. And we have this one and this one. Yeah, I feel like this one, that like definitely the hair is perfect now. And overall, I feel like this is a really, really solid study. It's just like missing some small stuff. So the biggest thing is that this guy is looking into the camera, and your guy kind of looks like he's looking a bit to the right. And why is that? It's because if you look at this white space in here, it's like this much, and your space is like way bigger, like that, you know, and that's making him look to the right. Okay, so I move his iris a bit to the left, and now he's looking straight into the camera, so exactly where he should be. Okay. Then another thing that I noticed is that if we're gonna measure your nose from here to here, it's a little bit too wide for this guy. So this is how, like, this space is how much too big you made the nose, a little bit. So make sure you're like, double checking the measurements. And lastly, if you look, like, one thing that's really unique about this reference and about this guy is that his jaw, it almost looks like it's going in. So you can kind of show a little bit of that to make him more like himself. See, so it's the nose getting a bit smaller, the iris is going a little bit to the left, and then pushing this in just a bit. See, so before and after. And now this is like a really, really great study. So I think like you just have to work on those subtleties and you're gonna be pretty much ready, Camila. Really, really good job. So I'm gonna save it for the Discord so you can check out the changes. Okay, and then for this guy, I feel like it's also like great nose, great lips, and like the silhouette, but there's a bit of a problem with the eyes. So first of all, your upper eyelids, they are a little bit too thick. So I would make them thinner, and then the eyes, they just felt like really round. So again, if we measure it from here to here, I feel like your eyes were like a bit not that long. Right, so this is how much you're missing this red space. Okay, so I made them a bit more like the reference. So I hope you can see that before and after, before and after. And another thing is like if we look at the space on the reference from the upper eyelid and like the wrinkle, it's like way smaller than how you had it. So I just made it look more like the reference, looking at the reference, okay? But other than that, everything else on the study is like just straight up amazing. So my biggest advice would be to be careful and like measure the little stuff a bit more thorough. So, you know, be careful with the subtle stuff I mentioned about the other guy. Don't make the upper eyelids that thick, and try to like look more at the reference when it comes to eyes. So it will look more like the reference. And yeah, other than that, you're doing really good. Definitely heading in the good direction. So just keep going. You're doing really, really good, Camila. Okay. Next up, we have Jason. Okay, and Jason says, "Hi Julia, I hope your day's great." Yeah, I'm a bit tired, but you know, it's okay. I only made one, but I tried my best on this one. I hope I didn't mess up minor things like line weight again. I did a front view rep because I always struggle with that. It's frustrating because I've been so close for weeks, yet I still somehow mess up. But getting the line weight sketches right is so important though. Don't want to make mistakes in design anymore after passing. Have a good stream. Well, you know, I think you like really like you will still make mistakes even when you're gonna be in lesson 4 and 5 because you know all the references are, you know, pretty hard. So it's like with time it will just get better. You know, like don't aim for perfection, but like just aim for being good. Okay, so this is what we are working with this time. Okay, where's my pen up? Okay, so Jason, the biggest thing is that you know that this would like make a lot of sense if this was like a sketch for like comic or just like sketch for sketch, but in shading we actually don't draw this line because this is all gonna be done with shading, so you would have to erase that line anyway because there's like no apparent line in here. So definitely never add this line. Gosh, it's like enough is just the nostrils and the wings, and then like kind of like this faded for like the planes, so that would be cool. So yeah, like let's just look maybe at the overpaint that I did. So this is really important. And then a little bit like I mean, he technically has like his mouth open, but I would keep it closed because you don't really see any teeth. So that's kind of unnecessary to open his mouth because he looks a bit, you know, bit derpy. So I close his mouth. And then for the eyes, yeah, like your guy, he was just looking a bit dead. So I hope you're like putting your work on top of the reference. But like like, look, this is not really necessarily like lining up, right? So, no, even if it was, so it would be something like that. So it was a bit moved. So yeah, make sure you're putting your stuff on top of the reference. It's gonna be really important. And then if you look at those eyes, it's just that your eyes are pretty cool, but they were a little bit too small. And then the way you're doing the irises, like, it's good that they are like clean and stuff. So, you know, mine may be looking a bit rough because, you know, obviously I didn't have time to clean them up. But the thing is that the irises, like, you're making them super like this shape. And this shape is like good for the most part, but like if it's the danger of this one is that it makes people look a bit like zombies. So I always recommend to like look primarily on the reference at what kind of shape it's happening. So I would say that in here you can look that this is ever so slightly, this is like going in. And like the overall shape, it's a bit wider than how you had it. So that would be like the shape for the iris. And if we take it over to your iris is like slimmer. It's like a bit slimmer, and like because of the line weight, it just looks like it's smaller. So the line weight should be, see how like this shape contains your iris, and actually the line weight should be like outside of it. So that's why your iris look a little bit too small. And that's why my iris, it looks more like the reference. But it's literally like the shape on the reference. See? This is inside, and now this is exactly on the line, or a bit outside and on the inside. Okay? And then for the eyebrows, I feel like you made them a bit too thin, like if he was a female. So I made them a bit more manly. I made them, and it's really important to capture the space between the eye and the eyebrow. And I feel like in yours, like there was way more space in here and in here. So I brought it a bit like lower, and I think he looks more manly now. Okay. So I'm gonna save it for the Discord, Jason, so you can check it out. I hope you can see what I mean now. Right, so it's a little bit like this line not being here, so keep it simple. And then for the eyes, be careful with making the irises too small, like really observe the reference. Be careful with the eyebrows, don't make them too thin, and watch out for this space in here. And for the mouth, like unless you see the teeth, you can like keep it closed. Okay, so I'm gonna save it for the Discord so you can check it out. I think those are like subtleties. So overall you're doing pretty good, but like be careful and wary of all the stuff that I mentioned. But like the hair is great, the silhouette is like great, and like the shapes for everything is like amazing, but like, you know, those are just those little things that you can kind of try working on. So do that and keep going. You're definitely going in the right direction, okay? So keep going, Jason. It's gonna get better. Okay, and then we have Nani screaming that she's late. Nani says hi. Nani says, I won't be able to submit until like after 2 months. Oh, that's so sad, Nani. Jason said RIP, and Asia says, hello, Doodlers and Jules. Hello, hello. Okay. Next up, we have Christo. Okay, and Christo says, hi, Julia. Hope your week is going well. Yeah, it's going. I'm a little bit tired. Last time you told me I need to work on cleaning up my lines because they were a big issue and also went from 2 sharp nostrils to 2 round, so I tried fixing that as well. I didn't want to submit the first guy because he looks really garbage, but I remember you told me to not throw away my hard work, so I decided to submit him anyway. Thank you for that. I hope at least he gives you a good laugh, lol. Okay, we'll see. Questions. Are the lines better this week? Thanks so much and hope you have a great week. Thank you so much, Crystal. Hope you're having a great week too. Okay, so this was last week and I remember OPing like the left side of this guy. Trigger warning, jump scare. Oh my god, yeah, he is a bit tough, but I feel like you captured like the silhouette pretty well. Just something happened to like the eyes and like the forehead. But yeah, but like the nose is pretty well. Yeah, definitely it's not that bad. Come on, don't panic. Okay, and then we have this one. Okay, and it's pretty cool as well. I really like the nose, how you capture the saddle bump. Okay, and then we have this one and the progress. I always use this guy for progress milestone. Thought it would be fun to share. Oh my god, this lane though, he's so robotic. What the heck? He's literally a cyborg. My god, and now this looks so like Asian. I don't know. Damn, but even look at the progress for like the planes. Like, what the fuck is that? And this is amazing. Okay. Okay, so as far as these guys go, I did a little bit of an OP for him, but I don't think you were that far off. The biggest thing that struck me is that you kind of removed a bit of his skull, so be careful with that. Like, pay attention to like the curvature of his head. His head is really round, so I added that. And then for for the eyes, I just felt like your eyes needed some definition because they just felt really like faded. And you know, they just felt like a bit unconfident and they felt like really squarish. So on my overpaint, I focused on making them a bit round and like building up a bit of like a bit of darker iris in here and a bit of like darkness on the upper eyelids. And then like the space you had for like the upper eyelid and like this wrinkle was a bit too much, so I made it this way so he can look more in focus. And then like I saw that you traced this eyebrow like wrapping, but you didn't really do it, so I did it for you because I guess you changed your mind, but it was actually a great call. And then for the eyebrow, like look how great of a shape you traced, and then like when it came to the actual drawing, I can literally take like a brick brush and like fill it up, and like it doesn't really change the shape, right? So you don't really have much tapering, so I had to change that. So see how now this is like bigger in here and smaller in here, like there's this a little bit of that happening. So that's what we call tapering. It's really important. And lastly, for the nose, I just felt like, again, like as far as like line weight goes, like you're not really too confident about it. It just felt like you only went over this like one time. So I added more roundness and made the bottom line of the wing a bit darker for show like the wrapping and like the 3D. Okay, so this is I think like your best study so far, Crystal. Overall, this one is really good. Okay, so I'm gonna save it for the Discord so you can check it out, Crystal. And I would just recommend you to like keep going. You're definitely going in the right direction. I would just say, you know, I want to see more confidence in your sketches because they're pretty good, but like you're still missing some subtleties and you're missing a bit of that confidence. But you're definitely getting there. So, you know, just keep going, do more works. and we will see where it goes, but I feel like you just need more mileage and like more paying attention to like, you know, like the roundness, the confidence and all of that. So just keep going. You're definitely going in the right direction. Okay, next up we have Hugh. Okay, and Hugh says, "Hi Julia. My last week issue was the subtlety thing. I think I get better this week or not. Feel more confident. So what do you think about my study this week? Do you think I'm able to try some lesson for now? Thank you. Have a good day." All right, let's see. So we have this from last week, this one and this one. Yeah, this one's pretty good. And then we have this one. Yeah, this one is really, really good study. This one is also pretty good. And then this one could use some better eye design, but this one is definitely your best work so far, Hugh. The only thing is that I feel like the cheekbone is like really, really big. So I would probably want to post it as the good example, but I don't want to get people confused with the biggest cheekbone. So maybe let me make it a bit smaller. Yeah, so the cheekbone will be probably closer to this. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this one is definitely your best study so far, and I feel like I definitely want to give it a little bit of a check. So I'm gonna save it for the Discord for other people to study because like this one is so good, Hugh. This is your best work so far. Okay. And then for this guy, I just feel like everything is looking pretty good, but the eyes are like just completely not it. Like, look how big you made the irises. So that's how big your iris is. But like on the reference, the iris is like way smaller, right? It is pretty big, but like not this big, you know? So in my overpaint, I focused on making the irises closer to the reference. So I did that. And also, like, I just looked at the reference and I think you kind of left a lot of this space in here, but it's not really that apparent on the reference. And in here it's like super small, so I would at least make it like symmetrical. So definitely before and after. Oh, and like be careful with the openings. Always make them, yeah, smaller, but they need to be wide, because if you just leave a really small opening like that and not make it wide enough, it just looks like it has like one little teeth popping up. So I kind of had to elongate it. Okay, so I'm gonna save this overpaint for the Discord so you can check it out, Hugh. Okay, so I'm gonna save it for the Discord. Okay, so yeah, I think you definitely are getting there, because like as you can see, you got like a green check for this one, so you're definitely heading in the right direction. But I would say like still keep going and like be careful with those eyes and irises. Pay attention on how big they are on the reference. Don't make them too big. Okay. And yeah, and be careful with the openings of the mouth. So great job, Hugh. I think you're definitely doing really, really good and like progressing. But like still keep working on the eyes and just like keep going, because there are like subtleties that you're gonna have to start catching now. Okay, but definitely really, really good job. Keep going. Okay, next up we have David. Okay. Asia says, nose screws are killing me right now. I hate noses. Really? I love noses, so that's interesting. Okay. Okay. And David says, hi Julia. Last week you told me that my lines and proportions are really good, but that my design could be better. Like you told me last week, I analyzed good studies from the server to see in what areas should I focus on more. My only question this time, what type of tapering is better for the eyebrow, or does it depend on the reference? I think it's really like it depends on the reference. What's really like both of these are fine. What's really important though, the thing that you should be paying attention to is like this line in here should be straight. So this one can like be like that or like that. I think I prefer it like this way. So I think I like number 1 a bit more, but sometimes it also requires like 2, you know, it's just like depends on the reference, but the top should be always straight. Okay. Okay, 1 is the oldest, 3 is the newest. Thank you for the critique. Okay. So that was last week. Yeah, I pointed out some stuff about the noses and stuff. Okay, and this is this week. This one. Yeah, they are definitely getting so much better, David. Definitely so much better. I think you've been definitely studying and like studying well. Yeah, so great job on these. One thing I wanted to mention about the first one, because I think like for these two we have like good examples, so like you did really, really good job at studying them. But for this one that you did yourself, I wanted to point out one really important thing, and it's that outer cheekbone. So the way you traced it is a bit like incorrect. So I'm gonna show you how to break it down on the reference. So it's really important to have this line and then this line and then this line, because this what I marked in here, it's the other corner of the jaw. So we have this on this side and this on this side, and it's not always visible, but sometimes it will be in this angle, and we show it through like changing, like adding this saddle corner in here. Okay, and that's exactly what I did for mine. So I did this line, and then this line, right? And in yours, like you kind of had this and this, and it's just like not the greatest look. So I would definitely make sure that you're doing this. So I'm gonna save it for the Discord, David, so you can check it out. And I feel like you got it pretty well in here when it's like obvious, but then in here, like I would make it a bit more down, so a bit longer. So that would be my biggest feedback. Focus a little bit on adding like this outer corner. Oh my god, it's not, I don't mean outer corner, but like the outer cheek. Make sure that your outer cheek is conveying the form a bit more. And I think the similar thing could be explained also about the nose. So the same way as the outer cheek, we also have to break down the tip of this nose into like few lines. So like this line, then this line, this line, and a bit of this line, you know. And I feel like in yours, I think you even have them to some extent, but the proportions kind of got lost. So, and like the angle is a bit different. So this one is like more like this, and yours is like more upright. So I would spend more time trying to capture those little things about the reference. So I'm gonna save it for the Discord, David. My biggest advice would be to start looking more for like those subtleties. So like for the subtlety of the nose, so breaking down those lines and capturing those angles. Then in here, like looking at the outer cheek when you're, even when you're tracing, and really being like this line, this line, this line, and this line, and like do it instead of making it like this. So I'm gonna save it for the Discord, so you can check it out, David. And yeah, focus on that for next week. You're doing really, really good. It's a lot of progress from last week, so just keep going and pay more attention to those stuff that I pointed out, okay? And the eyebrows are definitely looking pretty good. They could use maybe just a bit more tapering, but that's a issue for some other time. Okay, great job. You're doing good. Okay, and then we have Cinemini. And Cinemini says, hey, Julia. Last time you said that I needed to use a bigger brush, more build-up for the iris and the eye area. In addition to that, you mentioned to use less curves and measure more with the reference. Let me know how I'm doing. Thank you in advance. Question: Are there other areas where you need to use significantly thicker lines except for the eyebrows? Okay. So, let me think about it. Let me look at some examples on the Discord. Where is it? Okay, so let me look at some of our good examples. I think it's not even about like the thicker lines, but I think the thicker lines are definitely mostly for the upper eyelids. But then like you can sometimes, like, you have to like build up the nostril and the corners of the mouth. Yeah, but that would be pretty much it. Okay, so I hope this answers your question. Okay. Okay, so that was last week. Measure more with the reference and a bit more angularity. Yeah, this one is so much better. That's amazing. Look how much the nose got, like, so much better. And the eyes and everything. This is a really, really good study, Cinemini. Great progress. I'm really proud of you. Okay, and then we have this one and this one. Yeah, I think definitely it's getting better. But I feel like you still have a bit of like proportions issues. So I think if we take a look at this guy that Lion did, I think she had like captured his proportions a bit better. Okay. So if you look a little bit at the study that Lion did, you will see that, for example, the nose, it looks way much more like the reference, because she really like look at this nose and she was like, oh, okay, like the nostril is like this big, you know, and then she was like, okay, a bit of a nostril in here, but it's gonna be like smaller. And then she looked, oh, like there is like this bump and the overall angle is like this, and she just like captured, it just looks way more like this nose. And yours just like looks like a nose, and I feel like this nose is like a good nose on its own, but it's not really this guy's nose. So I would recommend you like paying closer attention to like the shapes that are happening on the reference a bit more, because it's just like a nose and a pretty good nose, but it's just not this guy's nose. So it's kind of coming back to like, you know, looking at the shapes in here. Okay, then the lips are amazing, and then the jawline, again, it just feels like you pushed it a bit too high, but I feel like his jawline is closer to how it is on this work, so I feel like somewhere here and here it would be more like this. And then another thing, cool trick that you can try implementing in your works is when you have like an eyebrow and it looks a bit sharp, you can actually like remove a bit of this and it will start looking a bit softer, or like making this a bit rounder, and it should help with making them look more natural. Okay, so I'm gonna save this one for the Discord, so Cinnamon, you can Cinnamini, you can check it out for this nose. So even though this nose is like not perfect, but it's definitely like closer to the reference. Okay, and for this guy, I feel like he's pretty cool, but you made him look a bit angry. So make sure that when you're drawing eyebrows, you're kind of keeping them more neutral. So this would be neutral, and then for this one, this would be more neutral. And you can see that he immediately started to look a bit less angry. You know, I think like in here is kind of a little bit about the shapes still, so he still has some leftover angriness. Let's see, like super angry, and this is like more natural. So I'm gonna save it for the Discord too. So my biggest advice would be to try try capturing a bit more like the shapes on the reference. So for example, like this guy has like more bigger nose, a bit more bulbous nose, and your nose is like really small. So, you know, I would look at the shape of the nostril and everything for that. For the eyebrows, try to make them a bit more subtle, not as sharp. And be careful with like angling the eyebrows. Be careful, because like you have a tendency of making those people a bit angry, you know? So try working on that, and yeah, and just keep going, but you're definitely going in the right direction. Like, even thinking that you were here last week, this is like incredible progress. You're progressing really well and really fast, Cinnamini. This is a really good progress. So just keep going. You're doing really well. Okay, great job. Okay, and I think that was everybody for today. Okay. Okay, what is happening in this chat? Jason says, hi Julia, do you have any advice on how to avoid making the same mistakes over and over again? I keep making mistakes in the same area and I don't feel any progress. I don't really know, but one thing is you can just like rewatch all the streams and like look what I'm like changing for like other people, because like I'm literally doing the same things. Oh, hello, where's the... Oh, this. We're looking for this one. Yeah, I'm literally like doing pretty much the same overpaints over and over again. So, you know, you can always like learn not only from your mistakes, but also learn from like the mistakes of other people. Because like, you know, every mistake ever was probably made by somebody else before. So, you know, you have all the live streams to watch, you have like all the overpaints that I did ever, so you can look at that and like, you know, pay attention. And yeah, you can always like submit to the Discord and stuff. So there are options, you know, but like sometimes you just have to like do like 1,000 mistakes and like then you're gonna get it, you know. But like try to get as many opinions and like feedback as you possibly can, you know. Not even just from me, but like try to get feedback from just somebody on the Discord, or like just send it to your friends and like ask them, how are the eyes looking? There's just like, it all comes back to like feedback and like getting somebody else like looking at your stuff with fresh eyes. So I hope that answers your question, Jason. Yeah, but you'll get it. Don't worry, you're not that far off. It's gonna be okay. Okay, and Asia says, Angel or Julia telling you not to do it. Yeah. Alex says, a little Julia sitting on your shoulder, just shaking her head and breathing heavily in disappointment. Oh my god. That sounds like you guys fucking traumatized. I'm so sorry. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Asia says, Astros, eyebrows wrong. Julia, heavy breathing intensifies. Not true, not true. I'm only having a heavy breathing when you're doing the same mistakes for the eyes, when they are like always too short. That's the only time I'm like, oh my god, again? I cannot believe it. Alright. So it was a pleasure doing this live stream, guys. So keep grinding. You're all doing really, really well. So keep grinding, you know, we'll see how it goes, you know. So great job, everybody. Keep going. So bye.